Harry madly tried to call Boris Johnson. Boris' resignation closes Sussex final door for royal entry. Royal fans, before we start, please subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon. Queen Elizabeth II's constitutional role as monarch could have been called into action over a political storm in Britain which saw Prime Minister Boris Johnson step down after over 50 members of his government resigned over his handling of sexual assault allegations against a Conservative Member of Parliament, MP. Johnson's intention to resign was announced after tense days of political scrutiny following revelations that he had been aware of groping allegations made against MP Chris Pincher before promoting him, despite Number 10 initially denying this. Political and personal scandals have plagued Johnson's premiership since taking office in 2019. Had he not stepped down, it was feared the Prime Minister would attempt to call a snap election hoping that the public would vote to save his job. This would have placed the Queen at the centre of a difficult political storm. The Queen and Johnson have maintained their constitutional contact throughout the pandemic and beyond, with weekly phone calls and sporadic face-to-face meetings at Windsor Castle. As sovereign, it is her right to be consulted on the issues facing the government of the day and also has the right to encourage and warn the Prime Minister, though she is expected to remain politically neutral. It is also the Queen's duty to appoint a Prime Minister. Following a general election, where the British public have democratically elected a leader, that leader is invited to Buckingham Palace for the Queen to officially appoint. Beyond the reading of the Queen's speech, which is written by the government, and her rights to be consulted, to advise and warn, the monarch has limited involvement with individuals in government, instead performing her ceremonial duties and royal assent. There are, however, times where she is bound to act on the advice of the Prime Minister when certain political storms arise. For Johnson, this previously occurred in 2019 when he was accused of misleading the Queen, which he since fervently denied, in asking her to suspend Parliament for 5 weeks in what was seen by critics as an attempt to prevent criticism of the government's Brexit plan. Johnson was accused of leading the Queen to believe that this suspension was legal. However, the British High Court ruled that it was not, and that in doing so it had the effect of frustrating or preventing the ability of Parliament to carry out its constitutional functions without reasonable justification. This placed the Queen in a difficult position. The politically neutral monarch had, on the advice of her Prime Minister, unwittingly suspended Parliament illegally. This political storm subsided and the Queen and Johnson appeared to carry out their duties as normal following the High Court's ruling. If Johnson had attempted to hold on to power, it was the Queen who could have proved a major roadblock to achieving this. Legally, Johnson would have needed the monarch to sign a document dissolving Parliament in order to call an election. This she could have turned down if the request did not meet certain requirements. These reasons include the existing Parliament being deemed vital, viable, and capable of doing its job, as well as relying on the fact that the monarch is able to find another Prime Minister who could govern for a reasonable period with a working majority in the House of Commons. The Lascelles principles also state that the monarch can deny the Prime Minister's request for dissolution if the move would prove detrimental to the national economy. So far in her historic 70-year reign, the Queen has not denied a Prime Minister their request to dissolve Parliament, thus allowing for a snap election. Therefore, if Johnson were to have pushed through with a bid for a snap election, it is unlikely that the Queen would have objected so long as it was done in accordance with the law. With news of Johnson's resignation though, the 96-year-old Queen has been saved from having to wade into this difficult political issue. Her next step will be to receive Johnson's official resignation before formally acknowledging his replacement, which will be determined in a Conservative leadership race. Thanks for watching. Please share your thoughts in the comment. Thanks.